Hello, beautiful people. How are y'all doing? Guys, I am kind of nervous. As I said in the description of this video, this is my first time telling my story live. Like, I'm kind of nervous. I really am. I'm kind of nervous. And, it's my story. And you might be like, why are you nervous? I don't know. I really don't know. But, I hope that you find value in my story, and if you do, go ahead and drop the fire emoji in the comments below. So, for those of you who do not know me, I am Xavier Zay Prelo. I'm originally from Prosperity, South Carolina. I'm from a really, really small country town. I think they got 2 stoplights now. No shade, but it's really country. I love where I'm from, though. I really do. And yeah, that's where I'm from. When I was 17, I graduated high school early, and I joined the world's greatest Air Force. I joined the United States Air Force. And I was in the military for about 8 years, but I have to be honest. Okay, so again, this is my story. So if I say something that offends you or that you don't agree with, I'm sorry, not sorry, but this is my story, and I only can speak from my personal experience, and I only can speak, what happened to and for me in my life. So it's not to talk crap about the military. I'm just speaking my truth. So with that being said, I am extremely grateful for the military and everything that it has provided for me. I truly am. But of course, nothing's perfect, right? And I will say though, the military itself, the idea of it and all the benefits and everything that, it has to offer is amazing. But of course, just with anything in the world, whenever you get certain people, when certain people who aren't in total alignment with the bigger vision, it can make things gray or unhealthy or not good for everybody. So I will say, one thing that the military is known for is leadership. I personally don't have that glorious story of, the brotherhood and I personally don't have that story of, my leaders did this and that for me. I don't. And, for a while I was always embarrassed to admit that, but it's true. And, so yeah, so along with that, a couple of things that I personally did not like about the military is just the political environment. Of course, there's a system, and sometimes leaders, and it's just sometimes human nature, I guess. I don't know, maybe it is, maybe it's not, but there was a lot of favoritism. I felt like there was a lot of favoritism, and even though they don't speak, you kind of know, there was the good boys club. So a lot of times people got opportunities because they had that look, or they just shut up in color. I personally, if something's not right, I feel like I should speak up. If things aren't fair, I'm gonna say something. It was just the way my grandma, she told me, if something's not right, always speak up for yourself. So I do, and respectfully, but if you just don't shut up in color sometimes, they don't like that. So if you weren't a part of that good boys club, or you weren't one of the favorites, you may have gotten overlooked. And I didn't think that was fair, and I didn't think that was right. I didn't like how, I'm going to say report card, for lack of better words, but every year we got a report card. It's called EPR. To kind of talk about your performance, but you may have leaders who kind of just pencil whip just because they didn't really want to have the tough conversations, and mentor you and kind of make you that better airman. Or, you had those where they just kind of rack and stack you based off of how they personally felt about you, not really what you put in and, the value that you brought to the team. So, the political environment, the good boys club, the favoritism, I don't like that. I like things to be fair and equal. and not just because you look good or you sound good. You know what I'm saying? I do feel like that, you know, there are a lot of achievements and growth, but again, if you don't have that support system, you know, and if you aren't that chosen one, because you know, depending on your location, I do hear it's different at different places, but you know, it could like stunt your growth, right? So I did feel like, you know, I had a lack of growth, you know, in my career. And I felt like I also was forced to conform. You know what I mean? I felt like I was forced to conform, and, you know, not even that, you know, I wasn't like following the rules. Like, I'm very good at following the instructions. It's just that, you know, if somebody had their idea and they had the rank or the power, so to speak, they could, you know, they could not sign something for you, and you could not, you know, take opportunities that you, well, I'm speaking for myself. There were times where I wanted, you know, different opportunities. I wanted different experiences outside of my job, or, you know, outside, you know, the base. You know, I wanted to move around, but just because I wasn't in the Good Boys Club, you know, they rejected me from getting my signature. I just needed some signatures sometimes from my leaders, and they wouldn't do it because I wasn't part of their Good Boys Club. And I just felt like, you know, again, with me having to like conform to the system, I felt like I had to dim my light a little bit because of just, I guess, like stereotypes, if I'm being real. But then also, again, like if you have somebody who's in charge of you, and, you know, they want things done a certain way, but you want things to be efficient, or, you know, you just want, you know, I don't know, if you don't show up in color all the time, boom. You know what I'm saying? Like, or it was just certain things that you could not do. And I just felt like, you know, me being in that type of environment, me naturally, and, you know, in line with who I am as an individual, I just felt like, I just had to dim my light. Like, I personally, some people can do it. I personally couldn't be Zay and Sergeant Prelo. You know what I mean? I had a hard time doing that, and it was weird. You know what I'm saying? It's like, well, who the fuck am I? Also, I felt like the comfort and the false sense of security, because I will say I was very fortunate to never have, because you get paid federally. So there were a lot of, I forgot the word, but it's whenever like they can't pay you. I was fortunate for that not to happen while I served, but I just felt like just the comfort and just the false, sense of security. Like, people would be like, hey, you know, you're in, all you do is gotta stick it out, no matter how you feel or how unhappy you were. You know, they would just say, hey, you're almost there, you got 20 years and you can retire. But I'm just like, in my mind, like, I didn't want to go from retirement to retirement. I don't even think, you know, before time began to rack on my personal career, I started to think like, I'm not really aiming for a retirement. Like, what I really want to do in my life is to live. I want to live a full life. I don't want to just get a retirement here and then go to another retirement. Like, that just didn't make sense. I'm like, why am I retiring for life? But, you know, when I would say that out loud, nobody else could understand what I was saying. Nobody understood that. So it was kind of like, again, black sheep. So I didn't like people, I'm sorry, not that I didn't like people. I naturally am a person who loves to grow. I love to contribute, and I love growth. Like, that's just me. And I felt like I was around people who could just, if they didn't have to do nothing. I'm not speaking for everybody, right? I'm just speaking about, there were certain people who would be like, well, you know, I'm already in, I'm just going to ride this out to get to that retirement. But I'm like, I didn't agree with that, because I'm like, this comfort is stopping me from, you know, being the best that I can be. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I feel like I have something more, and I just felt like I was being forced to, because again, I couldn't be 100% me. I just felt like I was being forced to accept, mediocrity. And not saying that that's a mediocre lifestyle, but I'm just saying for me to just say, well, I'm just going to ride it out for 20 years. And then, it was just a false sense of security to me. And it just really did not make sense. And like being told like, hey, we can be in this comfort zone. Like, I just didn't agree with that. So yeah, because again, like I didn't want to be around people who lacked ambition, who lacked passion. So with that being said, I'm gonna take it back a little bit. Early in my career, I got in trouble whenever I was in the military. And that's another thing that kind of like, I had a hard time with throughout my journey. And, when different things happen to us, right, we take it very, very personal. But what I've learned is like everything that has happened in my life has led me up to this moment. Like, right, I am more myself today than I have ever been in my entire life, right? And so I got in trouble and I had a hard time with it because it wasn't my trouble, and I had to take responsibility. Like a leader like straight up lied on me. And it was just hard for me to deal with because I had like my supervisor and I had other leaders straight up tell me, well, you're young in your career, you can recover from this. And again, that was just something I didn't agree with. They wanted to protect her because of she was high ranking. It would have been detrimental to her career. And also she was getting promoted. Like she was like about to PCS and stuff. Well, move to another base. So they were like, well, you're young, you can take it under your career. And I just did not agree with that. And that really, it did bother me a lot. Like it messed with me mentally, emotionally, like, and also I will add that incident, it did kind of stunt my career. Like, even though the same leaders who told me, oh, well, we know how she is, we kind of know what happened, they're the same ones who would like use that against me whenever I was trying to advance or take on new opportunities. They were like, well, this happened. I'm like, but you just told me that that it didn't happen like that. And so it was just like a lot of like, I'm going to say this professionally, but I may not have your back whenever other people in the room. And I didn't, just being like that. So, and that was like early in my career. I had not too long joined the military. And so just, just being around that type of environment, being around certain people who, had so much control over my life, but weren't really great people. Like, I'm not going to go on a tangent about that, but I became very, very miserable. And I kind of remember the moment when I became miserable because I was like, dang, like, it was more than me being unhappy. And it was different from being depressed. I was just so miserable, but I'm just so grateful. And this is what I'm saying. Like, you think, this is, because I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one, but you think, things happen to you personally, but it's not really, for you. It happens to you, but it happens for you, not really to you, right? And so, after that, I definitely became better equipped, and I just got, it forced me to keep looking. Like, I was like, you know what? I know what people are saying, like, hey, just ride this out. You only got a few more years. Well, I only completed 8 years active duty. I'm on 9 now because I am part of the Guard currently. But I'm like, they were like, just do 20, just 20. And I'm like, bro, what if I die at 30? Because if I would have stayed full-time active duty, I would have been able to retire at 37. And I'm just like, bro, what if I like die a year later or something like that? So that means I would have lived an unhappy life just for some money that I won't even get the benefit off of. I think like that. So me going through all that stuff and just being so unhappy and being miserable, I was always open. And I feel like more so with my heart and my spirit versus my mind. But I literally was introduced to the concept of total freedom. And I had no idea that even existed. I was like, what's total freedom? Like, I never heard about it. But maybe y'all have heard me and my boyfriend kind of talk about it, because that's something that we are definitely passionate about, helping other people get a taste of total freedom. And total freedom is having time freedom, you know, having health freedom, having financial freedom, having emotional freedom, and having health freedom. And what that looks like for me now, like I personally, like now today, you know, I literally have control over my own day. Like, I don't have people telling me, hey, you know, be here, be there, do this, do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I literally have control over my time. Like, a friend of mine literally popped into town and was like, hey, you know, want to catch lunch? I was able to move my schedule around without having asked for time off of work, without having to put in no notice or cover somebody's shift. I literally was like, hey, bet, let's do it. Financial freedom. Like, that is so important. Like, especially, you know, it's so unfortunate with, you know, me still kind of, I'm guard, so I report like 1 weekend a month, but having, like, just hearing about even people still in the military, just having difficulty with their finances. And, you know, I feel like the things that worked back, you know, 20, 40, 60 years ago, it ain't gonna work in 2020, especially not with this pandemic and everything that's happening. So having financial freedom is so important. I don't know what I just did. It's so important. You know, even though the military is a very comfortable life, and you do have, I guess, a sense of security where, you know, well, not even, because if they want to put you out, like they can cut the contract whenever they want. All in all, being in control of your finances, being able to make as much money as you want to whenever you want to, that's the only way you can do it in 2020. And forward, like, there is no sense of security when you go work for somebody else. You know what I'm saying? So if you don't have a side hustle, or if you don't have an opportunity that allows you to make money when you want to make it, listen, y'all ain't learned nothing from this quarantine. I would highly suggest that you do so. Having health freedom, being exposed to people who are mindful and conscious of their health, and who want to not even just to look good, but to feel good on, you know, a mental you know, aspect, not just physical, being healthy, period. You know what I'm saying? Even with your relationships, you know, sometimes when you're stuck, for my story, you know, I was stuck in an environment where I couldn't move. You know, I was assigned to a base, and I'm around these people who, they were just unhealthy because they aren't taking the personal development. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, having emotional freedom. Y'all, this life, how fortunate every single one of us are to be alive, you know, not and not to take advantage, to live a full life. Y'all, we are doing, I don't know if you are spiritual or, you know, religious, if you have a faith, but y'all, we should be happy, and we should take advantage of just life, and not to live a mediocre life to live. Like, if what you're doing every day is fulfilling you, I suggest that you keep doing it. But if you aren't waking up every day and being emotionally happy, I would highly suggest that you find out and decide and go after what makes you happy, no matter how uncomfortable it is. And having travel freedom. I will say Corona is definitely hating on me, because if Corona was not happening, I would definitely not be in the States right now. But I'm in the States. But just knowing and having the freedom, y'all, having the freedom to just get up and go. Like, if I want to go overseas right now, because as y'all may know, that my boo is overseas. So if I wanted to just get up and go, I don't have to cover somebody's shifts. I don't have to, you know, do all this crazy stuff. Ask another adult, can I do something? Like, that got to a point to where, you know, again, just being in unhealthy work relationships, it was just, you know, people having the authority to tell me what I can and cannot do, and not because I couldn't or I wasn't allowed to because of manpower, even though that's what they say. It was because they literally had personal, you know, things. But I've gotten to a point to where I've found total freedom. You know what I'm saying? It's so beautiful, and you know, I'm able to grow and to contribute as my best and authentic self. I don't have to dim my light anymore. And I just want to share this part with you, y'all. I don't know. I just feel like, again, we are, if you were alive, well, we all alive if you're watching this, but I just feel like there are so many people who, contribute and give so much to this world, and their lives are taken from them. And you have something in you, but you may be afraid, or you may feel like you don't know where to start. Literally just reach out and ask somebody, or just Google. Like, we all have access to the internet now. Just Google and start, because we all need to be living a fulfilled life. And if you aren't, like, it's your responsibility. And I will say, in my story, again, I was ashamed about it for a while, because I felt like I had no control over all the things that were happening to me. But what I realized is, for me, had that stuff not happened to me, I probably would still be active duty. And I'm not saying that's bad, but what I'm saying is I would be doing the complete opposite of what I'm learning to not do. Because in the way our brain is made, we have instincts within us to be comfortable, to be safe. So when you do things that are against the norm, or that you fear, even though you're not in danger, like, your brain is telling you, hey, stop, don't do that. People may look at you. People are going to talk about you, or people may look at you funny, or you don't know what's going to happen if you don't have this plan. But I will say, for me, I looked at my life and I saw, like, hey, if I stay in 20 years, I'm going to be like this leadership, these people who I don't agree with and who I don't like. And, yeah. And I know I didn't want that, but I was like, hey, if I take a chance on myself, you know what I mean? If I give myself a chance, like, I could do anything. I can create anything, as long as I work and I'm in control of my own life. So that's what I personally decided to do. I mean, and yeah, because I do want to say one more thing. Like, again, maybe on a different one. But anyways, all in all, I'm excited, y'all. I'm so excited. I will say I am a little nervous, because again, like, this is, if you really know me, I can't be shy, and I am naturally reserved, not so much private. People used to say that I'm private, but I'm more so reserved. So, like, sharing, like, very, very personal things about me does make me nervous. But I will say, y'all, I am so happy now, and how I feel about my future, again, I just think it's so good and I was blessed with the opportunity to have total freedom, right? I get paid off of my efforts. Like, I don't have to wait to get promoted, right? I don't have to get evaluated subjectively based off, if somebody likes me today or not. Like, I literally, if I put in work, I get paid based off what I'm worth and based off of my efforts. I choose with whom I work with. Like, literally, y'all, when I was active duty, again, this is not like shade against the military. I'm very grateful for the military. But again, when you have people in place who don't have the personal development, who don't even know who they are, it could mess up the bigger picture for everybody. But I literally had leaders personally who would literally get upset with me or throw shade at me because I wanted to take personal development classes. One of my leaders straight up was like, oh, so you pretty much joined the military just to take finance classes or something? Because the military has they pay lots of money to get, like, I don't know if y'all know, like, Dave Ramsey and stuff. If you pay for that stuff on your own, it's not cheap. But I would try to, like, attend different stuff like that. And, again, I would have to, like, figure out, like, who gonna cover for me to do that. And that was fine. Like, I didn't care about staying late or nothing like that. But whenever you're a supervisor, the person who promotes you and you're going up against other people look at you and be like, oh, so you going to another one of those person development classes? It's like, bro, I'm the only one going, and I can come back and relay the message. Like, why wouldn't I go? Like, so I'm just saying, like, being around people, I don't know if it was hating, because, you gotta watch people, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if it was hating or, just people who don't get the vision, who don't get it. Because I'm like, bro, you've been in how many years? Your retirement is faster than mine. I don't know if I'm gonna stay in or get out, but I want to prepare myself. And just like when this pandemic hit, a lot of people were not prepared. Y'all, I'm so blessed that I took a chance on myself. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't know, like, for the past year, aside from like getting on orders every, a couple months for the guard, but I literally have not had to clock in and work for nobody else throughout this pandemic, like, because I took a chance on myself. And like, just to experience total freedom is just insane. So yeah, I get paid off of what I'm worth and off my efforts. I get to choose what type of people who I work with. And again, whenever you are on mission and living and not existing, y'all, I will say, I don't even think the hardest part about not having a job is the money part. I think the hardest part is getting out of your own way. Like, I feel like we've been in this I'm lost for words right now. There's so many people watching. We've been in like this culture to just like settle and not listen to that stuff that's on the inside. But I assure you, y'all, to live a happy, fulfilled life, you have to listen to what's on the inside. Because if you don't, you're going to be unhappy. I just know for me, so what if I fail? So what if I go broke? Whatever it may be, I'm so blessed that I'm not. But whatever it may be, like, I already know there's so many people who took a chance on themselves and they're doing amazing. And I knew for me, like, if I would have stayed active duty, I personally would have been killing myself from the inside out. Like, I was so miserable. I was so unhappy. And also, like, I would have been doing my community a disservice. Like, for the people who know me, I get so many amazing messages from y'all, and I do appreciate it. Thank you so much. Because I'm definitely outside of my comfort zone. But people just who tell me that I inspire them and I empower them. Y'all, this is not easy, but I'm doing what's inside of me. So I just hope that, you just literally do what's inside of you. Every day I get to live big and I get to be my authentic self. And I feel like, aside from the money, well, I want to say this, like, but aside from the money, all of it, having total freedom is all good. Having health, having health freedom, having financial freedom, having emotional freedom, having travel freedom, having time freedom is so important. But being your authentic self is so important. Like, and I feel like that is something that I get to, like, that's something that fulfills me the most. All that other stuff is very important, especially like the emotional and the mental freedom. Like, oh my gosh, that's so important. But literally being yourself and not holding back, and that's outside of your career. You know what I'm saying? But getting to live a big and fulfilled life is so important. But I just wanted to say I'm so happy and I'm building the life that I want. And along with my boyfriend, I know we used to do lives every Friday. Maybe we'll bring that back. We help other people build a life of total freedom. And I thought that, I want to be honest with y'all. It took me months to share my story, again, because it was ugly and it was messy, right? Like, I didn't want all that stuff to happen to me. Like, I felt like it was a personal attack. But when I look back at my life, the reason why I went through all that BS, all that crap, is for this moment, so I can be happy. Because had I not been through all that, had those people not treated me the way they did, I would still be living what if, or I would still probably be holding on to the military. But the fact that, I went through all that, it kind of gave me that push. So all that stuff happened for me, not to me. So I definitely encourage you, y'all, if you have something inside you, just do it. Just do it. And also, I think I will start sharing my story more. Like, this was just kind of like an overview, but this is not my life. My story is not my life, right? And this is for anybody. So your story could truly empower some people. Like, I don't know who, but I like saw some hearts and stuff on this video. So if you have any questions about the platform that my boyfriend and I use for our total freedom, our time freedom, our health freedom, our emotional freedom, our travel freedom, and our I don't know which one I didn't say, health freedom, definitely reach out to us and we can definitely help you, because y'all, to live a full life is so important. It's above, you know, living paycheck to paycheck. It's above living and working with people you don't want to be around. So I hope that empowered you. I hope you found value. If you did, go ahead and drop a fire emoji in the comments, and please go ahead and reach out to me. I definitely want to hear like parts of your story. Like, what is something that, you know, you may have questions about. But I'm telling y'all, total freedom, having total freedom around your life, having control of your life, of who you are and what you want to do with your life, it's like no other. So I invite you to go on that journey and explore and just live. And I hope you have a beautiful night. Talk to you soon.